I don't know how you find so many shirts in that exact color.
They find me, Claire.
Yeah, they flock to you. You wake up, they're like, hey, hi.
They're just like at my window.
Hey, Kelsey, put me on. Yeah.
You guys maybe can help me out with this one. The look of it, I think, maybe is worth it. What's the word?
Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey.
And my name is Becky.
And we are the Sorry Girls.
And we've seen some requests for some old school DIYs, teach you how to make it start to finish. So that's what we're gonna do today.
Yes, we are tackling two different examples of a side table or a nightstand. Becky's going to do an upcycle hack from Ikea, while I'm gonna tackle a DIY from scratch.
And that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know?
We're just gonna get into it.
Yeah, we is.
Okay, so first up, I am gonna show you how to hack an Ikea table into a gorgeous nightstand or side table. So this table from Ikea is called the Nesna table, I believe, and it costs $20 to buy this, which is a crazy deal. It's bamboo and it has a glass top, which is reasons why it's good. But once we're done DIYing it, it's gonna look much more expensive than $20. We have some really fun things planned to upcycle this baby. So the first thing we're actually gonna do is replace the slatted shelf that it comes with here with a really nice faux leather option. So out of my faux leather, I'm marking out a rectangle that is 18 inches by 12.5 inches. I'm doing that twice, so I have two drawn out rectangles. Then using some fabric scissors, I'm cutting out these two rectangles. They're gonna get placed together with the nice sides facing out, and then using a sewing machine, I'm gonna sew around this entire rectangle to make one large double-sided rectangle. So the next step is gonna be with your rectangle facing horizontal, fold in both of the sides to make two little loops. I'm measuring out 1.5 inches to help guide my loop. I'm using a couple of pins to hold this in place and then using a sewing machine to sew close to the edge to create these two loop tunnels. So this is what it's looking like right now. You can see on the back, it's got the two loopies, but this will be on the bottom side and we won't see it. So the next step is going to be, if you already own this table, we're gonna disassemble it a little bit. And if you just bought this table, build it up until this point. What I'm gonna do is take off the one side so we can get to this bottom layer. So once you've got the side off, you'll need to pop out the slats that hold the bottom shelf together so that now we have two exposed beams that we can slide the leather piece onto. So I'm gonna leave the table at this sort of half assembled stage for now because we're gonna add more to it in a second. But before we move on to that, we need to get our DIY materials ready for this. So the next feature I really wanna add to this table is some woven caning. This stuff is super in right now. Urban Outfitters is selling a lot of furniture inspired by this or with this feature. A lot of other furniture stores are doing this as well, and I love that it's back in. It is something that looks like this. Drew Scott from Lone Fox actually did a video recently where he used this in a bunch of DIYs and they were all really cool, so we're gonna use that today as well. This is something you can order off of Amazon and it's fairly affordable, but the thing with this is that when it comes, it's folded and it has a giant crease in it, which is not gonna work for us. So the tip to making this nice and smooth is to use some hot water or warm water and wet the areas that are bent. If you get it wet with a little bit of water, it will basically reset it. And then as long as you kind of hold it in place while it dries a little bit with a blow dryer, it will dry flatter. So now that our caning sheet is flat and dry, we're gonna move on to placing it on the table. So where it's gonna go is on the underside of the wooden top of the table. So you can kind of see it through the glass. It'll make this awesome like shadow box effect that I think will be really pretty. So what we need to do now is cut the sheet to be the right size, which this table specifically is 13.5 inches by 14 inches. So we're gonna cut it to that. So once the caning sheet is cut to size, you can flip your table over and lay it on the underside of that top bamboo layer. Then I'm using a staple gun to staple it to the sides of the 3 sides that are currently built. Leave the exposed side unstapled for the moment. Okay, so currently this is how our table is looking. 3 sides are built and assembled. So the last stage here is to put the glass back in and put the final side on with the screws. So now that the last side is on, the very last thing we have to tackle is this final piece of caning that is not stapled down. So you guys maybe can help me out with this one. I racked my brain on how many different ways you could put this table together without having to staple the last piece on with the glass in there, because that makes me a little bit nervous about using a stapler so close to a piece of glass, but I could not figure it out. I feel like this is the way it has to be because you have to slide the glass in to put the last piece on. If this is gonna make you very nervous, you could definitely use a little bit of glue to glue this last piece down safely, but we are gonna go ahead and staple, but I'm gonna use a slightly safer method, which is using just the staples out of the staple gun and using a hammer to put them in gently, because I feel like the force of the staple gun is really aggressive and I don't want that like backlash from it to crack the glass. So I'm gonna do it manually. I cannot stress this enough, be very careful with this process so we don't damage the glass. Once your staples are in the final row of the can, you can flip it over and your side table is complete.
Okay, so last up, we're going to assemble a table pretty much from scratch, but still not gonna be that hard, although it is considered our hard side table. So to do this, I'm actually using a lot of things that we already have around our office, but all of them are materials that we eventually, or at one point, picked up from the hardware store. So I have my 1/2-inch plywood here, and what I'm going to be making is a wooden box with kind of like a flap to hide all of your inside drawer things, but it's a way to make a drawer without actually making a drawer because those are complicated. And I'm doing some faux piping legs. Now I'm doing them out of PVC pipe instead of a metal pipe just because it's cheaper and easier to work with. So we're gonna start by creating the box. So my first step is to take some of this 1/2-inch ply, and I already have it cut to the width that I want, which is about 11 inches. So I'm going to be doing 45 angled cuts here. So that means setting my miter saw to a 45-degree angle so that when we assemble our box, all you see is the nice corners and you don't see kind of like chunks of wood. And in the end, it's kind of gonna look like a trapezoid. Editor, can you put the shape here? With 2 angled cuts going in together. So you're gonna have a long side and a short side. So I measured out 15 inches, and this is going to be the long edge of my bigger piece, and I'm going to need 2 of these. And then I'm just using my miter saw to cut that 45-degree angle once on each side, making sure that I flip around the wood in the right direction so that I have, again, that trapezoid look. Then I'm going to cut out my smaller ones, and long edge to long edge, that is 5 inches. And pretty much the same thing, just flipping the board over, making sure that the angles are in the right direction so that when I assemble it, it creates a box. An alternate to a miter saw, because I'm not sure how many of us have table miter saws, you can use a hand circle saw, and this one easily switches to a 45-degree angle, and then you just want to make sure that you're lining it up against like a piece of wood to help you guide and go straight. So once I had all my pieces, I'm using some wood glue, and I'm just forming the box and using a nail gun to hold it all together. And again, another alternate for this would be nails, although I don't think that's the best choice. If you don't have a nail gun, I would suggest using some really small screws with some pilot holes. So nail gun's the easiest if you can get your hands on one. And they're not as scary as they look, because I only started using a nail gun this year. And if I can do it, you can definitely do it. I repeated that with every side until we have our box. And then the last step is to use some wood filler to fill in those gaps, because even though we used all these fancy tools, there's still gonna be gaps, because that's just the way life is. So now I have my completed box here. I don't have a back on my box and I don't have a front on my box because that's my next step. So I honestly don't even know what I'm gonna use for the back yet. If you've ever built Ikea furniture, a lot of the times the back of the furniture is just like cardboard. So low-key, I might just use cardboard just to keep like the things in it, because we're not gonna be seeing the back of this side table. And then for the front piece, I'm just cutting out a piece of plywood that is the right size to act as a little door. So my box is staining, and I'm just going to put it aside while it dries, and I'm going to move on to creating the legs. So we have actually a bunch of this 1/2-inch PVC pipe left over from when we did the canopy, if you remember that DIY. And this you can find in the plumbing aisle. I'm just gonna cut it to size using a pipe cutter as well as a hacksaw. Whatever gets the job done, whatever you have on hand. So I ended up cutting 4 19-inch pieces, 1 11-inch piece, and 4 3-inch pieces. I also picked up 4 90-degree elbow pieces, 2 T-pieces, and 4 caps. But I then realized that the caps had a little bit of a curve, and since I'm using this part to adhere it to the bottom of my box, I don't want it to be rounded. So I actually picked up some copper caps. I used a 3/4 inch instead of a 1/2 inch, and this is the right size, and it's flat, so it's gonna work a lot better. So once you have all of your pieces cut, you're then going to do a dry assemble. So I added all of my 90-degree corner pieces on my 19-inch pieces, and then I'm going to add my 3-inch pieces into those 90-degree pieces on my 4 legs. And I'm going to be adding that T-piece to my legs so that it creates a giant U. And then the last step is to add in the cross 11-inch piece to the T to connect the 2 T bottoms. And then once we have our dry run, you're gonna go ahead and take it all apart. Honestly, this is just the smart thing to do to make sure that it fits well together and is going to work with the sizing of your box and everything. So once it's all taken apart, I'm just using a construction adhesive to glue all of our pieces together. And I reassembled it pretty much the same way, and just really make sure that you're hammering them in as far as you want them to go. Make sure that all your legs are level so that they're hammered in the same amount, and make sure that when you start getting to the further stages of assembly that they are all even 90-degree angles so that your legs aren't kind of crooked or anything, and that the legs all sit flat on the ground. So I have my glued and assembled what looks like football score posts. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this a coat of primer. And after the prime, I'm going to use a hammered, well, this one says paint primer in one, but honestly, I don't know how much I trust that. So I'm going to primer it. Then I'm going to use this hammered black metal so that it kind of gives it a metal effect. That's my hope. Hopefully it will look good. And then while I'm at it, I'm also going to do those copper caps. But first, I'm going to drill a little hole in the center so that I can add these to my box later with a screw, but I'm doing them separately because I don't want them on here yet. So this is done being painted, and I have used hammered metal spray paint before, but this looks so good because the piping looks exactly like a metal piping, and I can't get over how real this looks. It looks textured like metal. Honestly, very impressed. Was not expecting that. And my box is also done here. I added on a quick little clear coat. Since I'm using thin wood for the front of my drawer front, it gave me a couple of issues. Long story short, I need to cut the bolts to add my handle in the front. You can just do that using some heavy duty wire cutters. And then I was able to add on my handle. And then when it came to the hinges, I was able to easily add it to the main part of the box because it was going into some thick wood, and finish it off with a little magnet closure so that the front drawer front stays closed. Something I realized that I wish I had done was put the magnetic strip on earlier, because screwing that in while the whole box was built was very difficult. I had to use like a very small screwdriver with like a wrench. It was not cute. So if you can put that on before you assemble your whole box, learn from my mistakes. But when it came to adding the hinges on the front, I had to glue them on, and at first I used a construction adhesive, and for some reason that wasn't staying, but I ended up using a 2-part epoxy to do that instead, and I also added my magnet on the front the same way, and I just kind of clamped it and left it overnight, and now I have a working drawer front. Stoked. So my last step is adding my legs to my box. So I laid my box with the bottom up, and then I brought in my legs and put them on top, and then just traced out where the legs are gonna lay. I just made sure that they were evenly spaced and drew a little circle in pencil around them. I then brought in my copper caps that were painted with the hole in them, and then used that copper cap as a template to drill a pilot hole. I then added a small screw to attach the copper cap to the bottom of the box. And then I took my good old friend, the 2-part epoxy, mixed it up, and then put it into the copper cap. And since my legs are kind of bendable, I just did this one at a time, but you can do them all at the same time if you feel like it. So now I have my assembled, pretty much done nightstand here. Honestly, I still have the back open. I haven't figured that out yet. The important thing is I have my legs on, and then all I'm going to do is actually add something heavy on top to weigh it down, just to make sure that the legs are setting in as closely to the box as possible. And when that's dry, we have a complete nightstand. Thanks everyone for watching how we tackled 2 different versions of a nightstand.
Yes, we've actually done DIY nightstands in the past too, so I'm gonna link that at the end for you if you'd like another way to make them.
Yeah, and if you like this video, make sure that you give it a like. And if you love it, make sure you sub it. And we will see you next time.
Bye guys.
Bye.